Yeah. What's up, man?
All right, Jesus, Falamar's here. Welcome back to M&A&D&D episode 67. Um, in front of the Waterdeep Council. Last we met before the joyous occasion of two of yours marriage. We had been in Fandolin, um, on unfortunate circumstances in which one of your past party members was prey to it seems like a mercenary group that's been out to harass you all. Um, Although you slayed one of their members, the Rakshasa and the Aranis escaped. Feeling as though Fandolin is back in good hands, able to defend itself. Um, you all teleported um, to Waterdeep, in which you must now go to the council and relay the messages um, before you of your previous adventure. Um, Certainly find out what's new and what's happening in the world as while you guys were gone up in the frigid north. Um, you guys had just now teleported into the musky uh, dwellings below the main castle in Waters Deep. As you guys kind of come to, you feel this like kind of electricity in the air, and you taste what is that? It's similar to like after a lightning strikes, and just kind of in the air around you. As you guys start to get a glimpse of where you're at, you're immediately beset on all sides. Armed guards with swords, glaives, spears, and arrows pointed at you. And for a brief instance, you wonder if you've wandered into a trap before one of the guards speaks to you, recognizes you as kind of a fellowship hired by the council, and he directs you. Welcome back, M&A. There's much to be talked about. Should I lead you to the council?
And
Um,
I would raise a question saying that what's all the hostility? Has something alerted the council?
No, this is just the safety precautions we're now under since the assassination, the uh, the further
Understood.
movements of the cultists.
Okay,
Although we limit who has access to the teleportation circle, you can never be too careful.
understood. Please lead on.
He starts to direct you, flanked lightly in the front and back by guards, um, up the winding staircase onto the uh, main thoroughway.
Oh, fuck.
You're brought back into this beautiful archway um, that you guys recognize with these polished floors and the sunlit room. At the at the center of it is this familiar table you see, long stretched with these high back chairs. There's a large handful of figures that surround it. You immediately recognize this is the council. Should bring everybody's attention to what I want.
There seem to be a couple of extra people here that were not here the last time.
That's very astute of you.
Yeah, I know.
Is there anything you'd like to do?
Well, we would approach the council, and most likely, I'm most comfortable with addressing Ramilla.
Well, are
out of
they
everyone.
are they meeting, or is it just they're just all kind of milling about? Like, is the council? I guess the word would be like in session.
Yeah.
It's although they're all not sitting at the table listening to one person speak, you see several of them on the west end of the table, hunched over, pointing, looking at maps in discussion. You see groups, small groups of them, kind of in twos and threes, discussing issues. Closest to you, with her back towards you, you notice Ramilla speaking to two other women that you don't recognize from your time here.
Do I recognize them?
No.
Okay.
I would say we'd likely, just stand, not in the middle of everything, but
Yeah, I'll approach her and just stand at her side, make her aware of my presence, but not interrupt the conversation.
Is the king also here right now?
Can I get a perception check from you?
from
Who?
Astrid or
No, from DW just asked that question.
gotcha.
21.
When you were here previously, it's the well, King Maldrich is still here, but a lot of what was being kind of led, and it seemed like who was point person on this was the Galt Nevermember. As you approach the table and you take notice, the king remains in his seat as they kind of point out some areas on the map. But Nevermember seems to be sitting further away from the king this time. His head sulken, kind of lowered his brow. And in between him and the king is Lady Silverhand. She seems to be adorned with kind of like tassels and some kind of insignia. You have a suspicion that this is some sort of rank, some sort of way to signify her importance now amongst the council.
So I would interpret that as probably DeGault has been demoted, and Silverhand has probably moved up in the council hierarchy. Does that sound right? If I'm interpreting what you described correctly.
I don't think I can help you with your interpretation.
Okay. I think I'm gonna.
As Ramilla stands there, quietly discussing some issues, she is drawn to her attention and immediately stops, turns. Astrid, so good to see you safe.
Yes,
Was
made it back again, but it seems a little different here. Is everything okay?
well, I mean, the cultist actions have intensified, and well, there was certain issues that we found within the investigation of the assassination that leave us, you know how things can get. Fingers can get pointed. So everything's a little bit tense. Come with me. And she walks you towards your group, who had kind of remained back a little bit, to address you all. Welcome back, M&A. It's good to see that you're all here. It's unfortunate that the Drakenhorn wasn't recovered, but I think my understanding is you may all still have learn some valuable lessons through that. Of course, I know some, as the word gathers fast amongst the Harpers, but maybe you all could take a minute and address the council with what you know.
Yes, I believe we can likely provide what information we have, as we're also here to hopefully gain some additional information from what you all have learned.
Okay. She turns around. Her voice kind of echoes in this hall. Lords and ladies, may we have your attention? Murders and acquisitions have successfully returned from their venture up north in the Sea of Moving Ice. Would like to address the council. There's some murmuring going on as Ramilla goes and takes her seat. Everybody sits there around the table, and the king kind of gives you one of these.
Well,
Speak.
Thank you, Your Majesty. As you've likely heard, we traveled up north into the Icewind Dales in pursuit of the artifact, the Drakenhorn. Upon our arrival, we discovered it was guarded by a number of white dragons and a city of kobolds and trolls. We worked to infiltrate and find the Drakenhorn, only to find that it had been moved prior to our arrival. However, we were able to free a member of the Brotherhood or the Arcane Brotherhood, whom had much information about the Drakenhorn and passed some of that, or passes what they could along to us, along with some of their information about the research they've done on that dragon's hoard. We also dispatched of one of the dragons while we were up there, and since then have made our return here after dropping off our contact at the out in Luskin, back with the Arcane Brotherhood.
A familiar gruff voice speaks up. Oh, we're really working with those tricky bastards, the Arcane Brotherhood. You recognize Anthar Foom.
Well, it has been our mission to gather as much information and to try to put a stop to whatever nefarious plans the cult has going on, and we would not leave any potential aid or potential solution to our problem left unchecked.
I think the council should be wary. The Arcane Brotherhood does not police its members in what kinds of knowledge they pursue, and they tolerate many evil and dastardly wizards. I certainly don't feel comfortable with their on my backside. You notice just this kind of it's like 10 yards there. If Wulan was with you, he would have surely warned you of their inability to be trusted.
Oolong had to deal with his family affairs. We had to part it our ways. But it's not just the wizard that Arcane Brotherhood is employed. They even work with fiends and devils.
That
monsters.
makes things better. Are you
Wrong group.
are you now trying to say that we should dive into the depths of hell for alliances? Maybe we should all plunder the 9 hells for friends.
Oh, my bad.
That was the Order of Assassins, not the.
Yeah, that's my mistake. Sorry.
I. I'll speak up and I'll say she had the information we needed at the time, and honestly, it's better to have as many powerful allies as we can than have powerful enemies. And right now, I'd rather have them with us than against us and helping us fight the cultists and this growing force, rather than turn them as an ally to them.
The king speaks up. Might I suggest that you avoid making allies on your own without the consent of the council. There's potential for many outcomes. And there's vested interests that you don't know about. Surely, you can understand that we may need to be wary of who we lie in bed with. You all a lot are allowed here in this room now because of the many sworn allegiances to you, my trusted members of the council. Just keep that in mind. Now, it seems they provided you with some information. Do we know where the Drakenhorn is now?
We know it's moved east, but when you're that far on the edge of the world, I think pretty much everything's east. It's likely that where we were sending scouts before we left, that the Dragon Horde would have probably gone to one of those locations that we were predetermined for the Sky Castle, one of the strongholds of the cultists.
The Sky Castle's
Original destination.
no. Our understanding is the Sky Castle ended up in the spine of the world. Its original destination, yes, we don't
Prior to leaving,
seem to be
Yeah.
South of the mountains in which you encountered it. Well, I don't think we're much closer to finding out there in their location than we were before. But I believe if you get with Ramilla, she can give you some information on maybe the next course we could use your help with. Locating Verum the White. I want to thank you all for putting your lives on the line for us. For venturing up there. For weakening what we can assume would be another strong weapon in whatever war to come by slaying that dragon.
I of course, and I want to bring that up to the council now. We're going to continue the fight, but prior to us coming here, we did return to our home, and I gestured to Valen and I, at least, and by proxy, Val. Our home in Vandalin, and our actions in fighting these groups and these evils have definitely put a target on all the people there's back, and that city is growing, and we recently lost a good friend of ours. This battle that we're waging to save the Sword Coast, to help everybody, it's not just our lives anymore, and it's we want to make sure that the places that we call home and the people that trust us, we want to make sure they're okay. Is there any other resources, groups, guards or something that we can send to bolster the defenses of Phandalin, to strengthen it, grow it, and make sure that no future dragon attacks or any other assassins or groups of the like can keep going there? Because Phandalin, while it's growing, it's people know who we are, finding out more and more who we are, and if we keep doing this, we don't want to point the target on them any further than they already are.
Aye, my lord. I think we should pay heed to what he says. Phandalin is growing quite large, but so is the reputation of that mystical cave. They seem to have come under control. I do not think that we should lose such a resource. It's kind of a brawny figure. Barely stands up. His shoulders a few inches above the table. I will send some of my guards, some of my best guards to Phandalin. Haste. I think that we can station them there and hopefully train them. Some of the soldiers helped fortify Phandalin.
Thank you. We can organize with the one of our comrades there, Shavanas. She's currently leading a lot of the current defense of Phandalin and Wave Echo, as our connections are there. And with the security you guys can provide, hopefully we can keep it safe and grow all of the Phandalin and Wave Echo. I don't know, to be another town and jeweled city that'll rival the sources of magic and stuff that comes from like places like in even Neverwinter.
Who was it who
Yeah.
just spoke up?
You recognize that to be Conrad Braunanvil.
Okay, thank you.
Braunanvil.
Yeah, Braun and
Valen kind of follow what Darking was talking about and then address to the council. While my group and my companions continue acting as I mean, maybe it would be presumptuous for me to assume that we're acting as the council's agent at this point when it comes to the affair of the dragon cultists and everything. But please do understand, we're while we ask for the assistance with the defense of the Fendelin, please do not mistaken that Fendelin's people has absolute control over their land and their home. Even for our group, we don't assume that we are the leaders of the area. We don't own the land. We don't own nothing.
The king speaks up. This is. I'll stop you here. This is not a land grab. Our intentions aren't to gain control over the cave or any of the land there. He kind of motions around this enormous castle you're in.
As
have
long as I
plenty
have
of
my lord,
resources.
your promise, then I am in contempt, and we deeply appreciate with every assistance that Waterdeep can render to our home.
Can you roll me a charisma check?
Okay. Charisma with advantage or normal?
Normal.
Then that's a bad roll.
Yeah. You get the sense that what you're saying sounds a little hostile, maybe even like a threat to the king. And he's getting a little bit
agitated.
agitated.
But it is something I have to say. Because we've all seen way too often when a stronger power oppose their military, and I mean this is me speaking as a player, not as a character in game, but it's just something that I have to make sure that it's in the game.
Okay. The king stands, which means the rest of the table stands. You all look tired. Maybe you should retire for the rest of the day while we deal with what's happening on the entirety of the Sword Coast. He sits back down. The rest of the table sits down. You hear like the screeching of the chairs, kind of like rubbing over the thing. And Ramilla just turns to you and she follows you out. She escorts you out. You guys take that long kind of walk of shame. Each of your footsteps kind of echoes through this giant hall.
Gonna
on the
bow
marble
and leave.
Yeah, on the
as
floor.
as you're describing, I just wanted to
throwing a bow.
I mean, kind of like the guilt bow and kind of walk out.
She leads you up these winding stairs into one of the
crap.
towers. It's you're led to a floor. The rooms. This is going to be a different setup than you had previously. And these ones are going to be like kind of 4 connecting rooms with this middle living space. And so she leads you in this, and so the first thing you see is this massive living space with like these 20-foot ceilings, these giant walls with these, huge draped curtains all the way down that are in the red and gold textures and tapestry that you see throughout the castle. There's these massive like high back chairs with these like satin cushions on them. There's these big like kind of comfy love seats in the middle of it, and then a hearth right there in between the 2 massive windows. At each end there's 2 doors. On the closest to the door that you just came in through, there's another 2 doors on the sides that you assume lead to bedrooms. Ramilla leads you in. Well, don't think tact has been your strong suit, but I can't argue with the results. Now, if you would all take a seat, I can maybe brief you on some of the things that are going on and need to be taking place here in the next few days. If you're up to it, of course.
Yeah.
Always.
Sure. I'll sit down.
Are we allowed to ask
So-
questions first, or I guess we'll.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
wait.
go for it.
I was going to
Oh.
ask, because this is our first opportunity to ask questions to Ramilla about what's happened since things have changed, like outside of like everyone else. So, I just wanted to ask like a few quick questions about the council before we get our marching orders or those updates. Who were the 2 new people in the council room?
Oh, well, Elisa, for one. Sorry, let me find them.
Yeah, it's Elia and Rian Nightshade.
I can't read what the group is that she's part of. But I can't recognize the icon either. I feel like I should, but I can't remember what it is.
And the other one was Rhea Nightshade. She's one that you should be wary of. She's brought with us herself some assassins and mercenaries. She's definitely a very pointed dagger.
What group is she with?
She's a member of the Zentarium and the Black Network's envoy.
Network.
The Black Network.
The black.
She's the envoy for the Black Network.
They remain uncommitted.
Do I know
That's
who
for
they
sure.
are? From my times in like the underworld, would they be in a competing group? Something like that?
Say please.
You have come across Liam, you've come across them from time to time.
Okay.
They definitely have dirty dealings and they're in back alleys a lot. Whereas Astrid, you would not have, because a lot of your encounters with these groups and stuff
Mhm.
have been through like trades and acquiring of goods.
Right.
And although the Harpers do trade in information,
Mhm.
up to this point, your expertise in the Harpers is within they've used your vast knowledge of goods and items and things
Okay.
like that. So you haven't come across them.
Not even before Harper. Not even like pre-Harper.
They remain largely on the
Dark
Sword Coast.
Okay.
If you
Yep. I gotcha.
Yeah, all these icons are pretty much exclusively to the Sword Coast. If that changes anything. And
I'm assuming
Elsa,
the girl
Elsa
that was
or
with
Ella,
Elia, Elia.
Elia.
well, yeah. Sorry, I'm just having a hard time seeing where they introduce her and then they don't say anything about her.
She has the least information on the card too. So,
Yeah, that's weird.
Is she with Nightshade?
she's a MacGuffin.
If you guys can just
I'll vamp. The Black Network. It, they're not really, noble. Seems strange to have a shadier group on the council, even by proxy. You have multiple members of Lord Alliance, and then you have Gauntlet, the Harpers, and Emerald Enclave. It just seems strange to have someone from less, savory, less noble group on there.
Well, I would say many times those that deal in the underworld know whispers long before those in high power do. So maybe they know something and they've tried to get their foot in the door.
Sure, but do you publicly acknowledge them by a seat at this table?
Depends on if they've been publicly acknowledged or not.
it is true that we've kept their presence here on the council a secret. Unfortunately, Elia at this time, I can't say much more than this. She may be the key to a very important alliance coming up in the near future. But so many things are never cemented
It
until they
just
are.
seems weird that we get scolded for working with the Arcane Brotherhood, who
No.
some of which
You have to
are
understand the Order of the Gauntlet are wary of people they consider maybe acolytes or that practice evil magic. I can assure you, Ornthar is not happy with Ryan being here either.
okay. Well, as long as it's
You felt the tension downstairs, right?
I felt tension, but I couldn't figure out where the direction was coming from. So,
It's
or
coming from all
directed.
sides.
Sorry, directed at. So, it tension was livid in the room, but I couldn't tell where it was, and we couldn't tell if it was only the new people um, or what.
I think for the time being, we need to focus on what comes next, and that is that many Harper Rangers have gone out into the field, and they've brought us. They've brought us news of where Verum may be. I encourage that the Harpers focus all the rest of the resources on the cult activities and mostly their powerful members like Verum.
And this Verum is the worm speaker.
Yes.
Okay.
Were we able to discover where Virum is? This is the second time we've heard Virum's name, and
He's a close confidant of Severin, who
Isn't
near the
Severin
top of the cultists.
yeah, isn't he one of the leaders of the cult?
Yes.
We received letters, or we found letters in the Sky Castle talking about them.
I mean, if we know where any
Yes,
of the
he's
worm
the-
speakers are, I feel like they would know, either have access to or know where the Drakenhorn went.
It seems we'd be better off finding out that information now from one of the major players than whatever cultists you may have run into up there in the north.
Yeah. Question.
Mm-hmm.
How many people knew of our plan to go to, like, leave for the Drakenhorn in the north?
It wasn't one of our best kept secrets. I mean, there was.
So there were many people outside the council that knew we were leaving?
Yeah, you turned down Hornblade's ship by
Mhm.
sea, right? So I assume I would assume that that entire crew probably knew that their venture up north was canceled.
Sure.
I'm sure even
How many? Sorry.
No, go
How
for
long did it take us to get up to? Was it 1 week or 2 weeks?
it. You've been gone for nearly 3 weeks.
But
But
it took us a week to get up there.
And we were delayed because we stopped in Fandolin,
Right,
as well as 10 towns.
Sure. So the reason why I bring this up is, minus the slight detour, had we, regardless, it wouldn't have mattered, because when we had arrived, the Drakenhorn was gone a week prior. So he pretty much lined up with, as soon as we had left Waterdeep, the Drakenhorn had already been moved. Now, if they had it secured and that place was secured and secluded, and they were using it because we heard it, I don't know why they would have. I'm just wondering if they were tipped off, because it said that that they were there, and then they came and they took it, and they were already there beforehand, because they said that the hunters that we walked through, they said that they had been down there multiple times, but they only moved it once. So I wonder if someone leaked our mission, So unless we were just instantly there, we couldn't intercept the Drakenhorn. So I'm trying to figure out who could have known, who would have let them know, and if that leak is on the council.
I understand your suspicion. And it's not the first time that thought has crossed every single member there on the council.
Has it been every single member?
I can't. You understand hyperbole, right?
Right.
What I want to say is there are many things to consider. If the cultists put their plan in motion to start this attack, and it began with the sounding of the Drakenhorn,
Sure.
it would make sense to me that the Drakenhorn have been moved to somewhere more secure and less remote if the intentions are as great as I think they are. If the end game was to sound the Drakenhorn and abandon it, then you would have found it. But it seems as though it was sounded as a rallying cry and to usher in the first attacks on the Sword Coast.
Are you
Keep in
saying
mind-
that
Keep in mind, they've planned this out, that this has been widely considered and thought out and planned. We were following information that led us to the north, that the Drakenhorn was last seen there. We made plans almost immediately to fly you north on the day that it was sounded.
Correct.
My understanding is it may not have even been sounded up north. And that because we're just now uncovering these dastardly deeds, that we are behind the ball. And that we were a week late. And that we don't need to suspect our own. And understand that the cultists just were ahead of us. That at the very least they planned ahead as to use the Drakenhorn somewhere more safe and well guarded than an iceberg in the middle of nowhere with only a few cultists to protect it.
Totally understand. And I want, just forgive me for playing devil's advocate here. Just want to make sure that everyone's safe on the council in Waters Deep, on the Sword Coast, across the bridge. I just have to ask this one last question. It might lead into another one, but I just need to ask: is the king married?
I believe he's not taking any suitors right now.
Really quick, can I insight check Ramilla about her previous conversation about the ideas that she's been putting forth about how we might have just been a week late and everything?
Uh-huh.
I'm just cautious. It seems weird and very quickly to dismiss. A 16.
This is a woman who's the leader of the Harpers, who you respect and
Mhm.
want to gain her favor. You do your best to get insight, and for everything she's saying, you wholeheartedly believe
Cool.
her,
I'm down with
her
that.
intentions.
I mean, a 10 for him is basically a natural 20. So if he's, I asked this because prior to us leaving, there was a loss to someone on the council, and now that person seems to be very close to the king. I don't know, from someone like outside looking in, it just seems like it just seems like someone's having a very strong rise to power. And if I were a cultist trying to undo one of my greatest threats, i.e., Waters Deep, the council, I would want someone inside and as close to the king as possible, and possibly able to usurp the throne when needed to do stuff. And that can go for anybody, but there's one person in particular. It just seems like maybe I'm just interpreting things wrong, but it's strange to me that things have worked out in one's favor after having such after losing one's husband.
I imagine it is strange, knowing very little about Laurel Silverhand, knowing that the true power of that kingdom was her, and not that bloated, cheating drunkard. Lady Silverhand has fought and earned everything she's ever gotten. And it was nothing more than the bumbling of never member for her to gain ranks within the eyes of our king.
Then I'm just going to quickly insight check, but I don't have great insight. But because I'm the one asking the questions, I feel like it's only appropriate. And then after that, I'll just respond. I don't expect it. Yeah, grabber. All right. So, well, I wanted to play the. I just wanted to.
Starwa
You know,
King,
from outside.
can I suggest something? The trust we have for those here on this council is thoroughly vetted.
Was that just King T'Challa?
That was King. That was T'Challa.
The trust we have on this council thoroughly vetted.
I would be wary of continuing this line of questioning amongst some of the most powerful people in Sora Coast.
No, you're absolutely correct. But I appreciate you letting me go through this thought process with you.
I would be insulted if you didn't.
All right. That's all I have for things and conspiracy theories. So, what do
Okay.
you...
We're waiting on a few more.
We never got anything for Ilya, right? I can't say her name. What was her name?
Aaliyah.
Emily? Ilya.
Ilya,
No.
Elia.
Still questions. All right, that's fine.
Our scouts have reported back from an area to our east that Verum the White has gone aground. We're waiting for a little bit more information that should come in the next few days on where exactly We do recognize that the area is in the Serpent Hills.
The Serpent
Of-
Hills. Sorry, I was repeating it out loud. I shouldn't have been.
In the next, I think there will be some downtime here in Waters Deep until we gather the last of this information to provide you with, and then we'd like you all to venture that way and see if you can take care of Verum for us. Of course, we'd like him alive, but these cultists, and especially someone like Verum, may not provide that opportunity. He certainly could provide information for us that'd be very valuable if he were alive. But if he never makes it back, losing Verum would be a giant blow to whatever actions the cultists have planned.
Ramilla,
Yes.
or is it? Hold on, this is actually a meta question. Is it Ramilla or Ramalia? Remalia. Ramalia.
We've been calling her Milla this whole time. Just commit to it.
Yeah. It's been like a year.
It's a Sword Coast pronunciation of it. Don't worry about it. It's just an accent.
Ramalia. I'm going with Ramalia. That's what it's written as. What?
Ah, fuck.
I get confused.
Ay. With this task of hopefully capturing alive Verum, do we have any means to do so, or would this be something along what we would need to be able to produce in order to accomplish this? I have an idea of an item that would help us accomplish this if possible. I just am not sure of, our access to such items.
Although I enjoy that the very nature of the Harpers is to be cryptid, I do need you to be more specific.
There are items that
Describe
part
it.
of my background has given me experience with, called the dimensional shackles, that would help us bind and capture one to this plane so that they are not able to shift or teleport or escape if we were lucky enough to capture them. And speaking from experience, our group is quick to kill.
Which
Yes,
brings up another question later.
I also expected your group to be able to do this task without such a powerful item. It would take me more time than I believe we have
Sure.
to locate. But
Never
I will do
hurts
my
to
best.
ask.
No. I will see what we can do. As
Thank
far
you.
as locating an item as powerful as that in the time that we have. But for now, I'd plan on a club to the back of the head.
Every 24 hours.
Well, we do have a resident dragonborn who likes whacking things, so
Um,
tell him to
Your
hold back a
personal
little and
lives,
it
your
should be
personal
okay.
lives are your
Mhm.
own.
we should have access to an airship in a week. We'll have to go back to Phandalin for it. But beyond that, two questions, and it's mostly preference. If we are able to obtain information there on the spot, it would be difficult to contain and Verum, who by all accounts is a powerful asset to the cultists. If we had to, escort him back or make a move on, readily available information, which would you rather do? Which one's more valuable to you? I'm saying, like, we can't leave him with the crew of the airship. We would have to be the ones that escort him back.
Right.
Or
There
in
is
this
always a
theoretical-
benefit for the Harpers to keep someone with that amount of information alive and in our captivity.
And then I turned to Val. Do we still have any of the letters and notes that we got from the Sky Castle? We should, right? Do you still have those in the bag of holding?
Journal of a Dragon Cultist. Letters to Rathmordor from Saravan, the supreme leader of the Cult of the Dragons. Letter from the Red Wizards of Thay. Yeah, what would you like?
All of them. Do you guys want to go through these two and see if these lead to any additional leads
Hint?
for the Harpers? Maybe not for the next part, but maybe for future endeavors.
Sure.
Well, Romalia, would you rather you and your
Yeah, I'm talking about to the Harpers.
would you and some of your agents like to take a hold of this information and scour it and see what you can come up with? We are pressed for time, unfortunately, and researching these.
I mean,
We are
Yes,
also
Leland,
not as good.
if you would prefer to
Weird.
call me Remilia, I'd appreciate it.
Yes. Look here, Mister.
Mister.
No, but we'll
not
take a
good
look
yet.
at it, and we'll see what we can decipher from it. Of course, we'll
Okay.
share that information with you as it may be valuable
Yeah.
on your ventures.
All right, so
I mean,
I'm
we've
handing
gone over
her.
it already. Yeah, so I figured we could just give that information over.
Cool. I'm handing her the Journal of an Old Dragon Cultist found in Dragon's Maw cave. Two warring factions of the Cult of Dragons. One followed the path of loyalty to old dragons. One of those trying to bring back Tiamat. Journal told of last moments of the group that was trapped in the temple. The last group had to resort to cannibalism, and the person seems to have liked the taste. Yeah.
This one here, I have a sneaking suspicion.
And then we have.
Aaliyah would like,
Oh,
and
Perfect.
it's the book about the two warring dragon factions.
mm-hmm.
Aaliyah is a cannibal. Cool.
More along the lines of she's probably from the old Cult of the Dragon that swore loyalty versus
Cannibal.
trying to bring back Tiamat. Instead of jumping straight to cannibalism there, Alex. And then I have the letters to Rathmordor from Saravan. It
This will
just
be interesting.
all I had was these letters showed the depth of connection between the Red Wizards and the cult. And then the letters from the Red Wizards of Thay, some of the Red Wizards are not keen on the cult's plans. So
the thing that I got from
That's-
those two is there is definitely some connection with the Red Wizards of Thay. We've had some dealings. We've killed one or two Red Wizards, and at least one has gotten away. But there's something there. So there's at least the Red Wizards of Thay. There's something more to look into that I don't think we've looked into further yet. We haven't had time.
It would make sense that the cultists, in a quest to get allies, would try to turn the Red Wizards of Thay. But it's interesting that you brought up that some of the Red Wizards of Thay may not be as welcoming to the plans the cultists have. We may send an envoy out to. Maybe we should try to contact them. An enemy of their enemy is a friend of some sort.
Sure.
I would just suggest not to mention Asborojas. That wouldn't end well.
As Borajas. Okay.
We didn't have to even say the name. The other thing is like it.
Good
There might be-
callback.
There's probably a I mean, just based on the amount of um, integration that this group has had with the cultists so far, and these letters that we've seen, there has to be some kind of cultists in Thay, I would assume, if we haven't already searched there. So, in addition to getting allies, we might be able to find something there.
I would, although I don't think you're wrong, I would say it would be difficult to see the cultists for much of this past decade has
Unless I'm wrong about where the Red Wizards of Thay are from.
they have small numbers here in the Sword Coast.
Okay.
For them to have bigger numbers that far away, we'll see. I find it unlikely, but from what I'm reading here, they are looking for them. They were looking to have them aligned together,
Gotcha.
and that's mostly due to their power. We'll see.
Do you know? I mean, we've only like superficially met the Red Wizards of Thay. Do you know what the Red Wizards of Thay are as a group entity? How they differ from other wizarding arcanum groups out there, like the Arcana Brotherhood Arcanum?
It is. They have been. Their history is much more cruel. Where the Arcane Brotherhood, their ultimate quest is knowledge and their understanding of magic, and in which means that they've delved into dark magic and they've empathized with those that might be considered evil wizards. The Red Wizards of Thay were almost born out of bloodshed and war.
So they're
And they've
from-
dedicated themselves in creating a nation. They're certainly more xenophobic than the Arcane Brotherhood.
I understand.
I'm sure you saw some diversity up there.
Oh, yeah.
They're notorious for nefarious magocratic ruling class.
Yep, we all know what that word means. Okay, so they're the Red Wizards of Thay, probably because they're battle wizards or warring wizards. The red like blood, not
And
red
they
like
dedicate
Final
each
Fantasy.
wizard is expected to wholly dedicate themselves to a single school of magic. So they're I don't know if you're familiar with the monks in the high mountains, but they are trained from almost birth to dedicate their lives into being a single focused being.
Mm-hmm.
And when they fight, they're the same way. Like a spear thrown through the air.
Oh. I looked up Magocratic. Yeah. Apparently my spelling was correct. based on the Forgotten Realms wiki, is the first link. So I think we're in the right spot. Magocracy is a form of government where only those with the ability in magic could wield power. Magocracies were commonly also oligarchies. Oligarchies, thank you, who's smarter than me. Or feudal systems, or else democracies or bureaucracies.
Okay, so it's a mage-led nation. Gotcha. Makes sense. I think of like Red Wizard, I think of like Red Mages in Final Fantasy. And I just kind of want to dive into it a little bit more, like Terry probably was thinking too. I don't know if he was or not. But...
I don't know what this Final Fantasy is.
I was talking out of the game. It's never mind.
What is this? Tell me more.
Please
Just
don't.
like please don't. Let's just
No, please
just
don't.
get.
We're already
Yeah,
running into
just-
a shopping episode. I don't need this shit on top of it.
Maybe this Final Fantasy can help us in our journey. Nope.
Christ.
I don't want this. I
I'm
don't want
so
this. I
mad.
regret it.
I have so many Final Fantasy jokes we can just leave.
No,
It
shut
starts
up. We are
with
moving on. Shut the fuck
Let's
up. We are
not
moving on.
go there. That's just moving on.
Got a boy in his axe beak.
Alex, I swear to God.
All right, I'm done.
Well,
You're all invited to, take the amenities of the castles as we sort through what we need to. It seems as though we have a week until your airship is ready.
and just to be completely certain, will we be able to obtain assistance in using the teleportation circle to get back to Fandolin quickly once our time is ready and we have all our preparations here done?
Oh, of course. It's why the council vested so much in helping create that teleportation circle so quickly.
It is immensely appreciated, but I still have to pay respect where respect is due, as we ourselves are unable to utilize this great tool by ourselves. So we appreciate all of the assistance that has been given.
We'll provide assistance with the traveling. Although it got a little brisk there in the council room, I assure you, behind closed doors, what you've done for us recently and in the past is well appreciated, and if you continue to help us combat this issue, I think that favor only grows. If I may have a word with Astrid and Val.
Sure.
Of course.
I will walk away.
She's staring at you, Valen.
I think I'm probably gonna check out the local scenery. I mean, as a player, this is my first time in Waterdeep, so like the chance to explore the street. So I'm gonna take the chance.
Okay. I know that you all have just come back from a herring journey to the north. But down in the South Docks, one of our scouts has gone missing. And I'm hoping you, Val, accompanied by Astrid, would look into it. Previously, he had been investigating a shipment that had come in from the south, believed to have been contraband, brought in by a scavenger group on a ship called the Theseus. The Theseus never made dock that night. But was found floating about 1,000 yards off the coastal line where the water breaks at its highest.
Any crew on board?
I'm sorry, what?
Were there any crew on board?
There was no crew on board, but there certainly was signs that whatever had been on there had recently been unloaded. Which was interesting because they never made dock. We believe our scout, his name was Relish.
Can you give us that spelling?
I'm gonna guess. I did it.
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be. An L.
Gotcha. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We believe that he had uncovered their intended docking location.
Is there no information on where that might have been, or was that lost with Rallis himself?
That was lost with Relish himself, unfortunately.
Okay.
We do have one contact in the southern ward that may have some information for you. His name was Tyne, and he's a shorter stature. He works at the docks. Large beard. You'll recognize him by the smell. But if you approach the docks in the southern ward, I believe you'll be able to ask where he's at. He's well known.
All right. Asher, do you have any other potential questions?
How long ago was this?
He went missing 2 days ago.
And that's a day after the intended docking of the ship, correct?
Yes.
All right. I think we can go ahead and we'll spend some of our time taking a look into this.
Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go back down to the council. If you need anything, let me know.
As she walks out the door, can I just grab her arm and speak to her to where hopefully nobody else will hear?
So you grab her arm and shut the door behind you, and you guys are now talking within that
The hall.
stone walkway right before the circular stairs lead downstairs.
Okay. I wanted to see if you had gotten my information request.
I've received some of it. Would you like to follow me? And she takes you, continues down the walkway, and then there's another set of spiraling stairs that walk up.
Mhm.
Just to clarify, can you remind me of the questions? I know I had them somewhere.
I just wanted to know what information the Harpers had on the Umber brothers. And then I wanted to see if we had any contacts within the city of Doors. I think that was the main two, right?
Yep, those are the two I asked for.
Oh, I think first we need to speak on your companions.
Oh, and then
They certainly have a history. And at the same time, they don't. There are points in which it seems that they disappear off the maps entirely that we continue to look into, but Darwa King, I'm sure you've discovered yourself is not his real name.
He goes by a couple, from what I can tell.
It's very difficult to find this real name. But what was uncovered recently is that while here, or in Baldur's Gate, he had wandered for the first time into a major city in maybe 100 years. Real hard to tell, but certainly been a long time. And he has, maybe out of desperation, stepped foot into a situation that in his younger days as a member of a nefarious group was reliable for information. But he forgot how cutthroat and how nefarious and devious they were. And although he tried his best, it sounds as though people took interest of him. My most recent knowledge of his visit to Baldur's Gate is that he was requiring some information which set off a lot of alarms in the underworld, in some of the most nefarious groups in the Sword Coast. Now, I've questioned whether or not I've questioned the Black Network, and it seems as though it wasn't them in particular that were looking for him, which begs the question to us: how powerful is the enemy that he's made?
He mentioned something about an order.
The Order of the Gauntlet?
I highly doubt it. He doesn't seem like that type.
No. I'll look into this, the Order. We do know that he's very familiar with the inner workings of a thieves' guild, the inner workings of something like the Black Network. We're highly suspect that maybe he worked with something a little bit more nefarious than them. But what we can say is when he went searching for information using the Thieves Network, it seemed to trigger bounties on his head set by somebody who was very well up, very powerful. someone that we do not know yet. That's how we found out his name. And that's how we found out that they're brothers.
Mm.
It led us to information about where they grew up. There's been some unfortunate circumstances to the village they lived in. It's far off to the southeast, but it seems as though whatever Darwy King had done, the repercussions led to a lot of dead people, including his parents and what was believed to be his brother for a long time, until he miraculously came back onto the map only a month or two ago.
And we have no information on him before then.
Well, before then, when they were just seemed to be two brothers living in a town, there was almost nothing of interest. It seems as though Darrow King had left home. He disappeared off the map and then created a circumstance in which his family was hunted down, tortured, and killed. How Val managed to survive that is beyond us. Where he'd been all that time is beyond us. We can't really say if they're trustworthy or not. Is why we have you with them. It seems as though Val is eager to put himself inside of the Harpers. And I'd like you to keep a close eye on him and let me know how he's doing. He's been a good asset. Both of them have been a good asset to us. But we have our concerns as far as where all that missing time has been. Who they may have encountered in those periods of time, who they may have owe an allegiance to. I mean, we can certainly come up with a lot of questions.
Feels
But
that
as
it's
far as
find more questions than answers.
right, what we do know is the last 4 months or so, they have been on the Sword Coast fighting to protect it, willing to put their lives at risk, and I think we're going to take that, and that's the only thing we can take into consideration at this time. All right, your second question.
Yes, sorry. I was just taking in a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
It's the City of Doors. Contacts within the City of Doors.
City of Doors is a frightening proposition altogether. The Sword Coast, this physical plane that we're on, it's already so challenging. I can get you in contact with someone, but it'll take some time.
Of course.
We've been searching for a while, but just need a little bit more time. I know better to ask why you'd want to, or why you'd be interested in it.
Well, let's just say partially to satiate an old curiosity.
Okay. I mean, you're familiar with other planes, certainly. I will let you know when you can make contact.
Of course, thank you.
Okay. I think we're gonna take a break right there.
Okay.
Sound good?
Okay.
Good.
Sure.
Good. All right, we're off.
I'll leave
mute.
them here.
I won't be satisfied until I hear M screaming, just yelling.
Yeah.
At him.
I'm off. Mute.
God.
Why am I
Off
now?
mute.
Oh.
But we have too many people
Oh.
agreeing though, so it
I
won't
just
work.
I just wish I have a segment that I can walk through the water deep today. That's it.
Okay. Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
I want to see what's the buzz about this town.
Okay, so you want to head straight to the strip clubs? Is that what you're saying?
No, he wants to go to the city of the dead.
Is that just a graveyard?
What's
no
up
idea.
with the city of the dead? It's just a graveyard.
I don't know, Terry.
Yeah, a mausoleum. A giant mausoleum.
Holy shit.
I mean, we spent some time in the dock ward last.
That bottom part looks kind of like New York.
Man, if City of the Dead is a place where I can see the funeral
Oh, that's
practice of the Sorcos people and how they respect their dead, I'd be very interested. Honestly.
You're from the Sword Coast.
Yeah, wouldn't you already know this? You're from the Sword Coast. As far as we know.
I mean, as a player, I didn't know what would that look like, but
You put a body in the ground and then you cover it up,
Unless you're Liam, who severs heads and steals them
and then you put the body in the
interrogates
ground.
them later.
Everything's still the same. You put the body in the ground. You just keep the head.
Okay, so welcome back from the break.
All right.
We're gonna now draw our attentions to a white-haired half elf, maybe, wandering through the cities of Waterdeep.
Hold on, I got this. Keep talking.
He makes his way through a very busy town, listening to all the chatter, the bustle, as people go on their way. They conduct their lives as if nothing outside of the walls of Waterdeep matters. I mean, as long as the walls stand, nothing does matter. Valen, what do you want to do? Terry?
You're on mute.
This son of a bitch.
oh, sorry, my bad. There's Trey Ward and there's a C Ward, right?
Mhm.
You know what? I guess I will go to the Trey Ward and take a look around. It's been a while since we visited a big city as big as Waterdeep. So
you head to the Trades Ward, which is Waterdeep's commercial section.
mm-hmm.
You had been here once before, in an attempt to look for a place to buy goods, magical items.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, is you wander past the shop that you had once visited.
How
You
did I
notice that-
perform on hackling that time?
No, I don't think there was
There was no haggling? Okay,
There wasn't really any haggling.
got it.
It hadn't done real well. The shop had been. Were you there?
He
I
went-
wasn't.
no, So what happened last time was he went to go eating, and then we caught up to him on the dock.
Yeah,
and
he wasn't. He
eating.
wasn't there. So no,
then-
you don't actually know this. You actually
Yeah, Asher took
last
us to
time
all
you
the
just went
bougie
up to the
places.
C Ward. So this is all new to you. So you see shops.
Okay.
So you see shops now that sell magical goods. They sell clothing. They sell all sorts of things. Go.
You hear someone yell at you from the distance saying, "Go back."
Go to bed.
Go to
Sorry,
bed.
my daughter, way past their bedtime. She's about to ask me for some. You come across one shop that seems like new. That seems kind of newly constructed, not newly constructed, but under new construction, with a familiar signage. As you look up at it, in this golded, gilded letters, it says Zorgos Emporium. One of the few places as you continue on your walk, you see very kind of elaborate clothing, turn of the century-ish, cloaks, fine hats.
Dalen needs a hat.
I guess I'm.
Just so David has to redraw something more.
You know what? There's
Wait,
that.
hold on, what was
I'm
this?
actually. I was thinking about that. I was like, if I buy something here,
Buy
would
it.
he have to redraw my character?
No, I don't have to redraw the whole thing, just parts of it. But I can do that because I like the picture that Alex has up there isn't even updated to what I currently have.
I have him moving around the place. Everyone can see him.
No, I mean if it. No, I walk in. So I walk past the shop, stood by, and kind of admire at the setting in the clothes. But considering we have
Considering
supplies.
this otherworldly thing having to redraw me, I decided not to.
No. Considering we have our finest clothes shops in Fenelon that kept us supplies with all the clothing that we need for our journey. I decided to pass it on to keep walking and see if there's more. See if there are other shops like trinkets and stuff like that would give my would be my more close to my liking.
I think Bailey needs a fancy hat.
So after you pass, so a couple blocks in on the trades board where you're at, it seems as though a lot of these streets are kind of blocked off by clothing, household goods. You see an area for it won't take you long for you to find an area in which you wander in and you start to see streets that the shops sell trinkets or they sell herbs and spices. They sell cutlery and things like that.
As far as we know, Waterdeep hasn't established a trade route with the Fenelon, right?
Yes, they have the long road.
Oh, they have. Okay.
The long.
Okay.
So Waters Deep has been here for a long time. So there are many roads in and out of Waters Deep. The long road, which comes from the north, it doesn't go directly to Waters Deep or to Phandalin because Phandalin is kind of like nestled back behind some mountains. So unfortunately for Phandalin, they have to go up to like Tribor, and then from Tribor take that same route that you guys took. Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right. So I guess Was the trade word all the clothes shop and trinkets? I think I'm good for now with the trade word, and what I want to do next probably go toward if there's a collection of information or library for the water deep where I would be looking for the things I would be looking for, like the things I've been searching, or the person that I've been searching for.
Um, you're going to want to probably go to the North Ward.
Okay.
And the North Ward is where is you guys had walked through before. It's kind of like a more high-end part of town. It's tucked in the northern portion of the city. The North Ward was the home of the nobility and their villas. The money classes made their homes there. It's kind of far removed from the hustle bustle, so it's a little bit quieter, a lot less like carriages and things and like people milling about.
Yeah.
But it being kind of closer to the Castle Ward, like that line in between the two of them, is where you're gonna find places of information.
Okay.
But the Castle Ward, so like right there at the edge between the Castle Ward and the North Ward is where you're gonna find places of information, because the Castle Ward is where there's like a lot of the government of the city is located,
Okay.
as including the Palace of the Waterdeep, which is where you guys are at.
All right. Then I will head there and start looking for, because with the latest information I got and the whispering I've been hearing, I figure there's something about. I had a feeling. Basically, I had this hunch that the person that I've been looking for and the things that I've been searching for somehow got awoken, or there could be a trace of information I can find. Because throughout my journey, for the last at least a decade or two, I hasn't been able to find any trace or thread of information about the things I've been searching for. But only till recently, especially after I've been hearing the whispering, that there seems to be a lot of, I guess you could say, understanding and this sixth sense of maybe the time is approaching for me to get closer to where I want to, to what I've been looking for. Okay, so I guess I'll be heading to the North Ward.
You continue north. Past the palace. And you come across a lot of like institutions of learning, but your mind is kind of drawn to this image here.
Mm-hmm.
This tower that kind of sits divided over a river that like climbs into the sky. It's the Blackstaff Tower.
Okay.
As you get closer to it, you come up and it's made of this like kind of obsidian like stone that circles and climbs to the sky. It doesn't seem to have any carvings in it except for those indentions that you would find in that obsidian. Like it's been
Okay.
chiseled. There's one door. It's very dark, black door, stained, and then with this intricate, like, steel filigree all around it.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like looking at the door and at the structure, somehow there's this I would say drive that's pull me in to open the door and see what's inside of the building.
You attempt to open the door and it doesn't move.
Okay. Um, David, can you roll it for me? Because my D&D Beyond is frozen right now.
I'll roll whatever you want. What am I rolling?
Uh,
Strength.
make yeah. Well, I guess you can roll strengths. Yes.
You lean onto the door. And as you grab that handle, it snaps open. Immediately, it opens up into this dark chamber. You see nothing that lines the inside. But in the center of the room, tables covered in books. You see, one call them statues, but bric-a-brac all over the table. And immediately, looking up from behind him, is a figure, really gaunt, whose eyes seem sunken in, and they just stare at you. What do you want from me?
How would I know what I want from you if I don't even know who you are?
Why would you go breaking down doors if you didn't want something?
Forgive me for my rudeness, but
I shall not.
should I roll persuasion or
What are you persuaded him of?
or throw the
I would say just roll. I just say role play it.
Okay, so all right. What is this place? Again, I
None of your
apologize.
business.
I apologize for my intrusion, but
You don't apologize after busting down doors. Oh, I'm sorry. I step like an elephant and crush your home.
again,
No.
I'm deeply
You
deeply
want
sorry,
something.
but
What do you want?
I felt a pull from this room. Something from this room is drawing me toward it.
And you have no self-control? You
It's
couldn't
not the
knock?
kind of feeling where I can explain naturally.
No.
It's
nothing
as if
natural is here. But I must wonder who comes through banging down doors, not knocking, and then demands to know who I am and where I am. You raised by wolves?
I wasn't raised by wolf, but you could say when I was young, my manners were lacking as I grew
That's
up.
no excuse. You're grown. You look old. white hair. Probably the oldest
Yes.
person in the group that you travel with.
The group that's not with him.
Wow, this character, this character leaves no reservation. All right, no, it's okay. I'll keep roleplay. No, all right. So
No, I am not. I
again,
don't have
I
time for
get.
this. What do you want?
Do you have any literature or any information about about a
Yes, you have to
person
ask.
that's associated? Well, about a person or about the story of Green Dragon chose.
What? About a story Green Dragon chose. I don't
Throughout my
understand.
journeys, let me explain. Throughout my journeys, I've been looking for information and the whereabout about a Green Dragon.
A
The Green Dragon.
The Green Dragon?
Yes.
No.
And
There's the dragon. And rumblings of the dragon. But there's no the Green Dragon. Or rumblings of the Green Dragon.
okay. You said
There's
earlier none of the stuff in this room are natural.
nothing in
Then
this world is natural. Look at this abomination. We're in a tower made of obsidian. Where outside do you see that?
I guess you'd be
Raised from the
correct.
9 hells, I suspect this is.
Then why all the security and the secrecy?
What security? You busted down my door.
Took me a lot of strength, might I add. But
It doesn't look
yes,
like you have
then,
much
then
strength.
what's okay? Well, then what's this room guarding about? What are you here
Guarding?
guarding, or what do you have in here in this room?
None of your business. And guarding, I should make these locks bigger and stronger. I should have guards that protect it to keep people that just bust down my door from it. What do you mean? One simple
just
old man
can't- I
came through
can't-
and busted my door down. And then you accuse me of being guarded and having secrets?
I'm not accusing you. I'm just curious about why is this building built with obsidians and
Maybe you're crazy.
well, I've been told that by people. That
Well,
I will take.
I can't. It's not my fault. Why do you come here? Why do you come here? Here specifically. What is it that you want to know? I know nothing about a green dragon. Makes no sense. There's green dragons all over the Sword Coast. You throw a stone, you'll hit a green dragon.
The reason I'm here, well, I guess I can't even. I've been searching a person that's associated with Green Dragon, but he's been so well hidden throughout the decades. I've lost track of him, and the only hope that I could get seems to be if I can find the whereabout about any Green Dragons, then I
There
might.
was a green dragon in north of Phandalin 3 months ago. Go there.
That wasn't it.
Oh, you know?
We were there because me and my companion were the people that actually defeated the Green Dragon there.
You killed it?
No, I don't suppose we did. But we were able to drive it off. And I don't think that was the Green Dragon that has the connection to the tie to the person I'm linking.
I don't understand. You speak in riddles. There is no information for you here unless you tell me what you want. I know nothing of a green dragon.
As I consider my options, truth be told, I've
Hold on,
been searching.
Do you want them to mute themselves so they can't hear you?
No, they don't have to.
Okay.
They don't have to. But I don't want to reveal too much information here. But I do want to see if there's a.
All right, I am going to deafen. Just post in the chat when you guys are done.
You can deafen, and they can't hear you.
Okay, hold up.
I'll take
let
off
me
my
let me.
headset because I have to leave it for the stream.
And I'll give you this when we're done.
Okay, so. All right. So what I'm looking for is a mythical, I would say spell, or maybe even magic, or a power.
Everybody looks for mythical powers and spells and magic. It is
The thing
Sword Coast
is,
is full of these.
the thing is, all my life, I don't know if I should say gifted or I was cursed with a certain power that, according to some legends from the history of the Dark Elves, apparently that power can bring about a very terrifying ancient god upon the world.
God.
And
Every 100 years, a new ancient mystery, horrible god is about to arise. Apparently, there's a new one that's coming. Why do you think this is you?
because if that's not the case, then all the loss that I've suffered this far would have been nothing. The lives I have lost would have been nothing. The memory of my parents would have been for nothing.
That is always a potential. There was a town of Greenness to the south that was completely obliterated. And I promise you, a child walked from those ashes and thinks that he is on a quest to save the entire Sword Coast. And that if that's not true, then those his family and his city and his village and the people he loved died in vain. It is the circle of life here. I need more than what you feel. Tell me what you're looking for.
I want the power to remove this curse.
What curse?
No one in this world shall have this much power over the might of an ancient god. Anyone, no matter if it's good or bad, anyone possesses power, could have the potential to destroy this world. I don't want this. And I don't want anyone to have this.
Which god? Which god do you speak?
The demon queen of spider. Loth.
No. You're not tied to the demon with. You are not tied to Loth because the hymn singers have died out centuries ago, and there is no more. There are no more hymn singers. The bloodline was cut, carved from the world, when Loth was damned to the nine hells. Why do you think you were tied to them?
and then I took out a, I guess, emerald blended with a little bit purple-ish hue of a stone. Because when I turned 37, this stone reacted to my voice. And according to the legend,
Let me
it will
see.
only react
Let me see,
to the power of Hangsinger.
please.
I hand it to the person.
Let me see it react.
Okay.
How
So
did you?
I started to basically, so when the person holding the stone, I basically start humming. And then the stone start reacting to with this dark reddish color and kind of just fills the room with it.
If what you say is true, no. That Lilith was once a great and powerful elf, and that her intentions were pure. And it was just as much the dark elves that led her to destruction as it was her own ambition. If you do have this power, no. That there is a greater danger than Lilith out there.
And that will be
She's been chained in the nine hells. I know this much. And that she's been used. And that there's something and someone hunting you. So that none of this.
Oh, we lost Terry. Oh, be back.
that.
Give me a second.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem.
Where are we at?
You are about to tell me there's some greater, even more powerful evil that's chained in the ninth round of hell. That's
No.
even more powerful than Lowell's.
There's potential to both love and this greater deity that's coming. That you may even need her help to defeat it.
Are you telling me there might be a chance for me to work with laws to fend off a greater evil?
Yes. And if your lineage is true, then you are also in great danger by someone who is trying to gain your power. What
I've
happened
been
to your parents?
avoiding. As far as I can remember, both of them were tortured to death in front of me years ago.
By who?
According to the information I've collected throughout the years, that person's name is Nerovane.
And that person will stop at nothing to gain her power and yours.
This is why I've been searching a ways to rid of this power, or else I would never be able to be free completely. And the world will always be under some sort of threats because of this power's existence.
Then Nervain is who you need to worry about.
Do you have information about his whereabouts?
He's east, amassing an army, continuing to look for Lolith.
So this is why I keep hearing the whispering. It's because this cannot be a coincidence.
It's
Because
not
if Dragon
Loth
Horn,
that it's not Loth that is burrowing to the surface. It is Narrowbane who
does it have
burrows
something to
to the
do
center.
with the Dragon Horn?
No. I know nothing about a dragon horn. I
Okay.
cannot help you any further.
No, but
But if you say who you are,
whatever information you have said here, it has been helping me greatly.
be
And
careful.
I deeply, deeply appreciate that. And please let me pay for the door.
I
I can
expect
talk.
you
All right. And I took a bow.
to. Please shut
And
my door on your way out.
okay. Whew. Wow. Okay.
All right.
Did,
BW, what are you up to?
Did Valen get murdered for walking into someone's house?
Nope.
Okay.
Surely
Nope.
didn't. No way.
All right, I'm just gonna rob the first house I see because apparently there's no room. No, I think we're just gonna grab everybody and I'm gonna grab Astrid for sure and see if Astrid can take us to the shopping district.
Okay.
Or
At this point, you hadn't gone out, you had gone into your own room, but because What are the two Harpers up to?
Depending on what happened, I was in the hallway talking to Ramilla.
I think we're kind of well past that. We're like, let's say we're
Oh.
like 20 minutes past that.
Oh, I would have just gone back in. Ooh. Actually, can I go? I don't know if I have like. I would have like a room here or within like the Harper's wing or whatever,
We have
right?
a room here.
Right now, you have a room here, so it's a living room, and then you have a bedroom. Valen has a bedroom, and then Liam has a bedroom, and Val has a bedroom. 4 bedrooms.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just go back.
I'd say because we have a week to do all these things. At some point we will take on the task that
Yeah.
Ramilla gave us, and at some point, because if this is 20 minutes after Ramilla, and whatnot gave us and left the area, and Valen's somewhere in water deep. I think it's just the three of us.
Valen's been gone for several. Like,
Yeah,
Valen
like
will
his
have
thing's
been
gonna
gone
take
for several
hours.
hours. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Valen left, so if Valen left, then we can't really do anything about it. So we just grab the group that we have and leave. Is the idea.
Asher, do you want to get started on the task given to us, or would you rather go with Liam here and potentially go do our shopping for the time being?
I would like to remind everybody, I have no healing potions. So shopping, I think, takes precedence, but
We have a week. We're going to do it.
sure. But I don't know what task you're referring to, so depending on how that turns out, I have no healing potions.
I have a couple errands to run, so I can take you guys to where you need to go.
Okay. Then we'll start with that.
My understanding is there is a location in the city in which Astrid wants to go.
Correct.
It is
I just
up
don't know
to
where
you.
that is.
It is up to you whether or not you want people to go with you. This is what they would consider a secure location.
Okay, yeah, then I'll wait. But I'll take them where they need to go for now.
So where you're directing them is towards the trades ward.
Yeah.
If they're looking for goods and stuff, you walk them into the trades ward.
Ideally, if I'm going to be able to metagame, if we could find Zaragos's shop, that's where I would go.
Well, you don't know that Zaragos's shop is there.
I don't.
But
No, my character does not.
you know of a place that had previously sold you goods.
Okay.
Yeah, I can.
That
I mean, I can
You're
just walk
comfortable
them
with
down the
like
main road there.
you come across to the shop that you guys had once entered, infiltrated in some circles, I guess you would say. But as you guys approach it, you see hanging above the door a new signage. This time it says Zoragos's Emporium.
Oh boy.
Well, he's clearly a very competent businessman. Shall we go in and see if he's home?
Is it the same guy from Baldur's Gate?
According to the sign.
Yeah. Let's see who's here.
Yes, you did, Em.
Okay.
As you guys enter the shop that you had once seen, it had been less than impressive compared to the Zorogos shop that you had seen in Baldur's Gate. That had these like kind of winding steps, had these large glass cases filled with items. When you walk in, you're immediately struck by the showmanship of the new owner of this particular establishment. There's that familiar pizzazz that you had seen in Baldur's Gate. It lacks the size of Zorogos's original shop, but it certainly has become filled with ornaments and items and these things kind of like spread about. You see some of those familiar caretakers of the shop, feline in composition. May we help you?
Is Zargos home?
Is the master home? Give me a second. And then it like bounces off behind a curtain, and out comes a familiar friend you had met months and months ago, or a month ago. I don't know, a while ago.
A bit ago now. Baldur's Gate.
Friends, how are you? So good to see you here. So good to see you alive.
Sargos, it's been some time. You work quickly.
Sometime indeed. No, I have you to thank. Wink, wink. It is your scouting that provided me such a location, such a beautiful interest in the waters deep.
Well,
I thank you so much. And he just kind of grabs you by the back of the head and kisses you on the forehead.
ay.
No, you too. Come here. Come here. He grabs Liam.
Well, that was. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Astrid is just smirking.
Astrid, I know you too well to even attempt to get that close.
I don't think Astrid
But
was
good.
here last time. He hasn't met Astrid before.
No, I haven't met Astrid. You think she's not more well known than you? Simple boy. Astrid, good to see you. A shake?
You as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't have any more items to sell me.
You know those days are behind me.
I can only hope you're my best. You brought only the best. What can we do for you?
We brought a few items, and we were hoping to peruse some of your wares.
A much more simple shop than I have there in Baldur's Gate, but we're starting. We're unpacking still. What can we do?
Yeah, let's see what we have here.
We have, I mean, the staples. We have healing potions. We have some weapons. We have some armor. So we have a handful of first level spell scrolls, like some simple things. But you know, I always have some things. I can get things if you need me to.
I will need some healing potions for sure.
All right.
If we can just set aside a lot of those, honestly, and I peruse what.
I'll tell you what.
First level
I'll
spell
give you.
scrolls you have.
I'll give you access to all of my healing potions because I don't give a fuck. If these people die, You bring me everywhere. I even heard of a shop up in that godforsaken frozen lands. And I thank you. I don't know if I want to expand that far yet. But I do
Well,
like hearing their prices.
I
Lots of
guarantee you.
whale blubber and whalebone up there.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
variety is limited up there. So if you go up
Nope.
there, you will bring plenty of variety.
You certainly have provided me with much insight, thanks to our friend. May I also give you a couple more of those in case you wander into more towns?
I assume he's talking to Val.
Yeah. Sargas, of course. Anything for a friend.
Good.
You've been too kind to us.
Yes. Well,
Uh,
let's
Zargas,
not. Let's not. I would like to make the understanding that I benefit greatly from this friendship. I'm not going to make that hidden.
is there anyone else around us right now?
Oh, yes. Quite a bit of people.
We'll talk about the you and my brother's arrangement, I guess, more later and how that was beneficial. Can I spell? Sorry, spell. Can I see the spell scrolls that you have on hand?
Yes. Sure, we can look at those.
And then we'll
Else
look at
you
the
would like
more.
to look at?
Well, I want to see what
Can I
other, and
just-
then after that it's items. But yeah, just want to go through spell scrolls.
Can Astrid just wander through really quick and do, I guess maybe, would it be perception or investigation? To see if I can find the singular thing I'm looking for?
Message me the singular thing you're looking for.
Right.
Are you trying to do it to everybody, or are you trying to do it to just him? Because you're right now typing to everybody. Okay.
I mean, it's not a big secret, but we just recently talked about it.
I just wanted to make sure you're getting it to where you wanted.
You would need to you would need to roll 1d100.
Okay.
Enjoy that.
Okay. 53.
Damn it.
Aw,
You did not find it here.
okay. That's fine. I will just continue to be entertained by Sargas.
You can always ask him. I mean, if you know him, you would know that he has a shop in Baldur's Gate, right? So you can always ask him.
But I need it more immediately than that.
We don't know how long it'll take him to get something to us. We'll be here for a week.
We'll see.
Something I was gonna bring up later is like if there's anything we don't need. It's something that's not here right now, but we want. Maybe we can see how long it'll take him to get it here.
So Zaragos, since we are such good friends, do you mind showing us some of your nicer wares that you might have on hand here? I know a couple of us are looking to see if we can't bolster some of our capabilities since our fight continues to grow ever more harrowing. But I would like to say that we also have a few items that we have acquired but may not have use for that you might find lucrative?
I want DW to roll 3 D10s.
3 D10s.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if this is going to sum them up.
And then, okay, so the first one's a 4.
4, 7, 2.
So one of the spell scrolls that he has is called Arcane Lock.
Who? Okay.
What's the next number?
7. 7.
Enlarge, reduce.
Okay.
What's the next number?
2.
The next is Gust of Wind.
I'll grab the first 2.
Okay.
I'll set them aside.
And then we're working very hard to get some of our better items here. Unfortunately, that takes much time, and you understand, right? That's some of the things that we don't always have access to. I do have a handy haversack available right now.
Hmm.
I also have this cloak.
Can I take a look?
Sure. You could take a look. But understand, it's one of my more interesting item at this location. See that cloak? It does many interesting things. It's a cloak of displacement.
Hmm. Can you give me a little bit more information about what it might do? I don't think I've run across one of these before.
Okay, check this out. This is going to probably blow your little minds, but and he puts it on. And it seems to like project this illusion that he's standing in an opposite location. Where he just was is like, no, you turn your right. Yes, you see me, right?
Hmm. Well, that is nifty.
And then right then he brings his hand back towards the side of your neck and you feel it. No, I was always here in this location. See how it
Interesting.
fooled you.
I could see many uses for that. I'm fairly interested in this cloak. DW, you seem to like to carry a lot of odds and ends, but have issues with holding on to all of that on your own. Would you find use for this sack, the haversack?
I mean, is it just a bag? And are you implying I'm a hoarder?
Yes, you're a hoarder. You carry weird shit all over the place, and you keep asking me to carry it for you, and I'm not always right next to you. It's stupid, and I hate it.
I'd prefer not to use the word hoarder. I prefer
You're a
to use
fucking
the...
hoarder.
Okay.
You hoard heads. You're weird as hell.
right,
Oh
let's-
my god.
I have no heads on my person right now.
Because I got rid of them.
We got rid
Can
of
I interest you in some other items.
Well, I'm very interested in these two, mostly because I want my brother to get off my back about carrying all of his random shit.
But yes, continue. I
Um,
don't want to knock you off your roll.
No. Let's. I also agree that you should buy both. Why argue?
Zargos, would you be willing, because we're such good friends and we've been so helpful, would you be willing to offer trade for part of the value of these items for
I
some
would
other
not.
magic items?
No. Lord, look. I like you, but I wouldn't say we're friends.
We just want to make sure your stores are stocked, and we will definitely purchase lots of items. But we also want to make sure.
What can you? Let's say you build a credit. What can you give me, so that I know our future ventures will be profitable?
So I'll pull out the Berserker axe.
That looks disgusting. I love it.
We also have the Ring of the Ram.
Ring of the Ram?
Yeah, I'm going.
Interesting. Okay, this will certainly bring customers in. Okay, what else?
I think currently those are our.
I thought we have one more. Hold on. What's
There's the Dragon Gleam spear. I just don't know if we want to get rid of that or not.
Do we know what it does?
Yes.
What's it do?
20 charges to cast a daylight spell.
I'll take it.
The daylight spell.
I'll take it. So what I'll do is I'll
Okay.
take those items.
Yeah, that's fine.
With
Take
the
those
idea that I will sell you, not today, but in the future, I'll sell you things of better value. Right?
Sure.
We'll continue a profitable relationship. So, give me the items, and I'll put them for sale. And then if I make some, I'll make sure that you get your cuts.
Alrighty. Well then, anybody else have anything that they're looking for?
I have an amulet. I have a pipe, and I have these winged boots. But honestly, we can forego those things. I think.
What's those winged boots? I think we should definitely the boots that you sold me last were so amazing. I definitely don't want to pass up on.
Things.
I don't want to forego any boots that you may be selling. So Astrid or Val, do either of you want to maybe try on these boots?
I believe Astrid or Valen.
Valen's not here.
Might.
But yeah, Valen.
Sure, but just because our friend isn't
I'm
here
not
doesn't mean
saying.
we can't
I'm
look out
just
for
saying.
him.
Trying it on is what I said.
Jeez.
Zargos, if you don't mind, I can try them on.
For the sake of like,
If you
talking through
don't
it.
mind, may I help you try them on?
Do you remember
Any-
the last time you touched me?
You're right. He flings the boot at you.
I'll put
don't.
on. Obviously, I can't like attune to them if they require attunement.
I don't think they require attunement.
It does require attunement.
Oh, it does.
Does or does not?
It does.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
They're worth it.
So they feel very comfortable. You walk around, but you do not get a chance to fly in them.
Yeah, but would I recognize?
I mean, he said what they were.
Did he?
Yes.
He just said he had boots.
No, he said he
That's
had
flavor.
winged boots.
Oh, sorry.
But you would recognize him, I mean, instantly.
Okay.
And I have identify prepared, so like I can cast identify on anything and get the properties of it all.
Okay. I'll take them off. And you mentioned an amulet?
Yes. This thing is made of copper. It contains interlocking gears. Look at this. It's powered by magic from Macanus, a plane of clockwork predictability. A creature that puts an ear to the amulet can hear the faint ticking and whirring noises coming from within. When you make an attack roll, when you make an attack wearing the amulet, you can forego rolling a d20 to get a d10 on die. Once used, the property can't be used again until next dawn.
Got it.
Zergos, just a question. Do you happen to have either at this shop or your other shop an item that would let me store spells? Like,
Explain.
looking for an item that would let me put to store like a shield spell in it, so I can keep it, so I don't have to use my spell slots.
No idea what you mean.
I know which item I'm looking for in particular. Do you want me to message it to you, or?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. Well, if you do happen to come across any items that would
I'll
enhance,
keep a look on a item that holds spells,
Yeah.
which I don't understand.
store spells, or
Store
like,
spell.
helps with spells.
Like a scroll, like a spell scroll.
I would love to see more spell scrolls as well.
This is what I have. I showed you them.
And I will happily take these two, and I point to the arcane lock and the enlarge or reduce spell scrolls.
Okay. I love use. Talk to my feline friend here. They'll work out because you're buying all of our potions.
Mm-hmm.
Very good to see you. And thank you. Without you, I don't think I'd be in Water's Deep quite yet.
Well, once again, Zargos, our friendly relationship has its benefits. So
Boots.
Certainly.
We got potions.
I have many things to take care of. I'll see you later. Bye-bye!
thank you for your time, Zargos.
Goodbye, Zargos.
I'll see you later.
Convenient how he failed to mention any prices.
Yeah, well, we'll see what we can do as we try to ring it all up. So we'll gather the items. I think
I think
currently,
Astrid and Val were going to take off at this point while he deals with the prices.
well, he was dealing with the prices of a few things. There were a couple of things that I was going to pick up for myself out of that.
Oh my god, why did you not do this earlier?
What do you mean? I literally said I liked these two items.
Oh yeah, he's dealing with the prices of it.
He's dealing with the prices? We're fucked.
What?
What? Are we
All
purchases?
right, what are you guys doing?
I thought so. Viva just said that we were. You and I were leaving for some reason.
I just didn't want to do any more shopping. Honestly, that's
I
my
don't
bad.
either. I'm trying to wrap this up so we can go on. And you just kicked us out.
My bad. I just assumed you guys were done shopping.
If
Well, we
that's
just
We
gotta pay.
need to pay for the items that we're picking up for ourselves.
I know, but we could do that off screen.
Off game.
Okay.
So are we just assuming that we have the money then for it?
Sure, but how many
Well, we can
potions of
figure it
everything
out.
do we get? Do we know the exact numbers?
Yeah, guys, figure out your numbers, multiply it by the prices.
Well, he said all of them. Did you have a fixed number of potions that he had?
You guys have a fixed number of potions of what you need. That's what I'm giving you.
Yeah, it's that idea that we had the last time of this is how many we pick up of each potion per person. That's how
kind
many
of what I
he's
was.
saying.
That's kind of was gonna go with, like, so that.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna need. I know the total that I need then.
Okay.
I don't know how many everyone else used, but I know what I need because I used all mine.
Can I make a page for this? I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'll put it at 660 gold for me for potions, but we can do the rest later.
I was just saying. Well. Liam is, or DW is paying.
Well, yeah, David
or
has
Astrid has somewhere to go.
Yeah.
So
Asher, do you need accompaniment? Would you like anyone to go with you, or are you? Is this something you just do on your own?
Val has the bank, so
I've got to do one thing on my own. Well, two things on my own, but the other thing can wait. And then I can meet you at the South Docks.
Do you want to meet up tomorrow then? So you have the day to go do what you need to do for yourself, and then we can meet up tomorrow to go investigate this.
Sure.
We have a week.
Yeah. Okay, we can do that.
All right. I'll help settle up the cost of everything, and then the next day, after Astrid's done her stuff, I'll meet up with her to go investigate the South Docks.
Okay.
we got. So just to double check, we got 2 spell scrolls, X number of potions, winged boots, displacer cloak, haversack. Did we miss anything?
Just the healing potions that you guys need.
I said X number of potions. So
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
And then I assume Valen is gonna make a shopping list of the stuff he needs that he wants. Like he usually orders, buys
Ginger.
foods and spices and whatever, right?
Yeah, basically just provision supplies.
Okay. Astrid, we're gonna follow you. You can go ahead and describe your way through Waters Deep. You know
Okay.
exactly where you're going.
Yes. I guess I'll just kind of wind my way towards where I need to go. Stick to not the back alleys, but just more sparsely populated pieces, just so I don't really catch anyone's attention, but also still blend in. And I'll keep going until I get to the nondescript building that looks like a house and knock on the door.
It's a peculiar knock that you make that opens this door. There's no figure behind it. The mechanisms that open the door seem to have been initiated by this knock that you gave. And you start to climb up this staircase, disheveled, broken, until you reach an upper room. You open a door down a hallway, and inside of it is a room with no windows, but there's a bed, and there's a dresser drawer.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the furthest corner of the room and you take 3 steps and you find a plank directly between the bed and the dressers. And you start to pry it open. When you shake the board loose, you reach your hand in. It's exactly where you remember it to be.
Perfect.
Okay. I'll leave it to you.
Oh, okay. I take out a kind of within like this random pile of things is what looks to basically be like a tiny stone carving of a chest. And I'll just pop it in my pocket and put the board back down, and take all of my my pack and all that stuff that I've been carrying around and sit it on the bed. And hold on, I gotta find it. Put it in the. Sorry.
I didn't add it to your thing
Oh,
yet.
you didn't add it?
So go to manage.
Okay.
And search for chest.
Okay. Thank you. And I'll sit it on the
What you want
floor.
it called.
It's okay, that's perfect. I'll sit it on the floor, and then just sit down on the bed and activate it and wait for the casting time to finish. And as it starts to kind of, the chest that was just this basically the size of like a small river rock in the shape of a chest, it begins to kind of grow and expand and turn from kind of like this stone to wood. And then once it's kind of reached its certain point, I'll open it, grab a couple things out of my pack, and put them in the chest, and then close the chest and make it shrink back down, and then put it in my bag and make my way to my next errand.
You walk out of this safe hold. You kind of peer around to see if anybody had taken notice. And then you make your way back up to Zaragos's, where you had left Val and Liam.
Okey-doke. Would they still be there?
At this point, you probably took like a half hour. I don't think they would still be there.
Okay. I'll just walk by, check to make sure that they're not there. Is it like late in the afternoon?
Yeah, this is like mid to late afternoon, so it's kind of like the sun is drawing down over the coast.
Okay. I'll cut down kind of the main thoroughfares and make my way to the Temple of Tyr if I have time.
You make your way towards the Temple of Tyr. It's a little bit closer to the seaward, so at this point you're kind of chasing the sun as it begins to set, and you climb this hill. The sun begins to like crest back over the ocean as you climb up to it. And at the top of this field, this path that leads through a field, well north of the city, you see this temple that kind of spawns in this little bit of grassland that's just east of the sea or west of the seaward. You recognize some of the symbols. You're not the only one there, as there are many people bowed in honor and grace as they pay homage to Tyr. It's like a four-sided structure with this peak in the center. What is it that you're doing?
Oh, sorry. I'm just going to go in, drop 2 gold in the offering box, and just go into like the main area, and pray and just I need to. I don't think I brought what I needed to bring. But I would, after, saying just a quick prayer, and I'll go kind of to the side where some of the priests are, and just ask, hold on, I gotta get my notes out. Ask if any of the paladins of Tyr have come in or out lately, or are they still out on mission?
All but one are out on mission, child. What can I do for you?
I was just looking to see if someone was here, but they're probably out. Thank you for your time.
What makes you think that they're out?
Mostly because I know them well, and if there's only one here, it's definitely not them.
Okay. Please.
Thank you for your time.
Do not turn your back on Tyr, as Tyr will never turn hers back on you.
Of course. I'll just.
Will we
Go
see
ahead.
a sunrise mass?
We'll see if I can make it up at that time.
I hope to see you then.
Of course. And then, yeah, I'll just peace out. And that's, I need to do that's all I got. I'll head back to the castle. Is it castle? Castle. Mansion?
Down to the castle ward. Yeah. I'm assuming everybody makes their way back.
Yeah. At some point, it doesn't have to be at the end of the first day, but at some point during this week, Val's going to take time to read the book, the Beyond the Gates book that he's been hanging on to for a while.
Fuck, I had that information for a long time.
Yeah, if we don't have it at the second, I'm okay to wait.
So
or
you're back at the castle. In that familiar room, and you're reading through this tome that was found amongst the belongings of the Red Wizard Rath Mordor. And it's written entirely in Infernal.
which I know.
It describes various forms of devil summoning, but the final chapter describes the use of massive summonings and the sacrifice of hundreds of souls to bring Tiamat bodily out of the 9 hells and into the world. It describes the enormous preparation and expense that this would take. But it doesn't really give you information about the actual magical formula or chance that would it require.
Are you doing this solo, David, or are you gonna...
Yep. Been something I've been trying to read for literal weeks.
Right, but why would... But are you gonna... Why would you...
Because I was going to sit down in my room during downtime and read it. Find out what's there, and then go from there, Alex. Calm down.
Okay.
As you look more into the book, it just describes this destruction. The rise of Tiamat would bring... You get this overwhelming feel of dread. Your body kind of like starts to sweat profusely, and as you lay back, you see these proclamations, like these images in your head of this world on fire. Everything, like the dawn red, the land scorched, lava erupting from all aspects of the land. The sense of dread is all over you. It's coming. It's almost undeniable in this feeling that you have. It's closer. That's where we're going to end tonight.
Ooh.
I want to say thank you for Viva, because that one was, I mean, for my section, it was a 100% spontaneous development.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I've been doing all night. It's been a challenge. Woo! Made it through the night.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Good shit. Lots of
It is really hard on these nights when it is like, here's what I want to do. Because like you guys 100% should have those nights, right? But it's really
Yeah.
difficult because like, how do I plan for whatever question you guys come up with? So I think at the beginning of the night, if you went back, I was like sweating. I'm like, oh, what the fuck am I gonna say and do? But it's just fun because we just start going. We just
Yeah.
start going, and I just hope it makes sense. That's my like, oh fuck, I just hope this makes
I
sense.
enjoy a lot from my section.
That's cool.
Yeah, your section was really cool. Too bad none of them are gonna ever hear it.
Nope.
Yep.
Terry likes to be secretive for some reason.
Says the person sitting in the room by himself reading a book.
Yeah, but you know about it.
But why are you right? But why are you being like?
Why do we have to do everything together all the time, Alex? Like, that's such a shitty way to play D&D. Oh my
Because in
god!
case
Never
something
spend the
bad
money. Oh my god!
happens.
Never do anything by yourself. Never have your own character to do its own thing.
You could
That's
always
literally how
like
you're
bounce
playing
side.
it.
No, it's just never mind. Everyone plays everything so separately. It's just like, okay.
Yeah,
I think
characters.
that kind of has to happen. What up, Foggy? Em, I would like to figure out what happened at the Temple of Tyr. I
Oh,
thought you had a game plan.
I had a game plan, and then I realized I hadn't prepared at all.
Oh,
And I
okay.
knew I didn't want to put you through that. And so I was like, okay, I'll just take a couple minutes to like type something up and send it to him for next session.
Oh, okay, because I
I
was just like,
realized-
oh, like, did I fuck up? I'm trying to read through
No,
like
no,
what
no,
you sent me. Like, what happened?
No.
What
I
happened?
realized,
Did I miss somebody?
no, my mind was like, oh, this would be a good time to do this. And then I like started thinking about it. I was like, oh shit, I haven't warned him about any of this. I don't want to put him through this. So I'll get up with you.
Okay. Yeah. I
I'm going
was like,
to provide you a 6-page essay,
Yeah.
bullet
Nice.
pointed.
I expect
Handwritten.
nothing less.
Well, Foggy, you made it to the very end.
Yeah, Foggy, you made it to the very, very end.
All right. Thanks to everyone else who was on in for this. I guess we'll catch you next week. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Foggy just got here.
I just
We'll go back and watch all the rest of it because the rest of it was good. All right, we'll end it here. Bye, everybody.
bye.